Hi friends, this week's midweek service sermon was from Andy Yeo, entitled Parable of the Talents, Same Value, Different Size. Look out for that. And now, for this week's interview.
I found it on Rhema Radio.
Hi, you're listening to Rhema Radio, the weekly podcast on faith, culture, music, and more. And today in the studio with me is Datuk Peter Ng, right? Datuk Peter is the founder and chairman of UCSI Group Malaysia. He is a self-made entrepreneur who drives the tremendous growth of UCSI Group, a Malaysian conglomerate that operates in education, consultancy, healthcare, hotels, property, and technology. So UCSI's education arm annually impacts more than 14,000 students from over 110 nations. Yeah, it runs one of Malaysia's leading private universities, colleges in Kuala Lumpur and Damansara, 2 international schools, private schools, preschool centers, and a continuous education firm. Okay. Datuk Peter resides in Kuala Lumpur with Datin Lily, his wife of 29 years, and they are proud parents of Christopher, Charmaine, Natasha, and Nathaniel. Right. So today, thank you for being in the studio with us on Rhema Radio.
Yeah.
And I just thought that it would be good to hear from you and hear your life story,
Sure.
and also give hope to people out there, because I was just talking to you just now that
Yeah.
I see you as almost like a rags to riches kind of a story. How does a boy from Linggi Negeri Sembilan end up founding a successful conglomerate? Bring us back from the beginning, like as a boy. How?
It is all through the grace of God, Jason. Really, my dad himself, said this to me one day. He said, never in his wildest dream that God would see it fit for us to do what we do, and I totally agree with my dad, because I myself had never thought of the fact that I would be able to run UCSI Group today. Yeah. Why? Because it is such an impossible thing. I have never been a bright student. I never had money. It's something that I never even thought of holding. So it is just impossible. But God,
paint a picture. I mean, what's the situation in my growing up?
Yeah, it was so poor, Jason. We were so poor. We have 13 of us.
13?
Yeah, 13.
And you are number
7.
7.
Right in the middle. 6 above me, 6 after me.
Right.
So it's easy to remember. And we were so poor. Our home was made of wood and atap. The leaves from certain trees and the what you call it, from the jungle.
Sure.
And our floor, we have hardened clay. We don't have any kind of cement. No. And our kitchen is really not a kitchen, really made of clay again. My dad had the skill to make this sort of thing. And 13 of us, and we have only 3 rooms in the house. So my mom and dad stay in one, my siblings stay in another, and then my grandma stay in the other.
Wow, I'm trying to imagine. It's so very, very compact,
very congested, very, very. Really, it's hardcore poverty is what it is. Okay.
Your parents were, mentioned
they
rubber
were,
tappers.
Parents were, my mom is a real rubber tapper.
Okay.
So were my older siblings above me, all rubber tappers. My dad has gone beyond that. My dad is also a building, also a builder. He's also a what you call odd job worker. Like you can call him to move your house or to spray what you call weed killers, cut down trees, and so he's really into everything just to earn some money for the family.
Whatever it takes to make the family survive.
Very, very poor family.
And at what point in your age did you have any sense of aspiration for something more than what it was in the situation at the moment?
I can remember probably at the age of about, or rather in grade 4, grade 5, I used to help my mom to clear latex out of the cup. You actually leave a little bit of latex in a cup for the next day. And so I will, the next morning I will come and clear those cups so that my mom can tap again. I recall vividly complaining to God. Still remember till today, as I do that from tree to tree, I will complain to God that why is my family so poor? I asked God to allow me to break the chain of poverty for the family. And the whole family was full of strifes, and we were arguing and almost severe emotional kind of heated argument things at home all the time. So I remember at very young age that I want to break away from all these. Yeah, at very young age.
And when you say complaining, were you Christians?
No,
Christian
I
so
wasn't.
it was just to God,
just
to God,
in general, because mom would pray to God, and not so much of that, but my mom would pray to God. So I just follow her and complaining, praying, speaking out loud to the God. Yeah.
Okay, and I think God heard you.
I think he did. I think he did, because after that, of course, later on, how things were put together, how the desire, determination, and all of these, I think God plays a huge part in my life. Yeah.
So you've heard it here. I mean, Datuk Peter's early days and where he came from, and we're going to take a short break right now. But when we come back, we're going to listen to how from there he came to founding UCSI and the journey thereafter. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Hera Lukman. I worship at PJEFC. By profession, I'm a health psychologist. My favorite verse is taken from John chapter 16, verse 33. Jesus said, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world.
Hey, welcome back to Rhema Radio, the weekly podcast on faith, culture, music, and more. And today we're in conversation with Datuk Peter Ng of UCSI, and he is sharing his life story. And before the break, we were talking about your situation at home and being in that small house and having this aspiration and complaint to God in general. Why like that? Why like that? So, what was your steps after that? When did that breakthrough first happen?
All right. So what happened was that the environment sets me up actually to fight against. For example, to be called by your form teacher as Anjang Gui, like a dirty ghost.
That time teachers can say that and then get away with it.
Yeah, get away.
Now
because, in a
different.
small village, you get away with everything, right? So in Lingi, my school uniforms were yellow in color. My white shoes were kind of brownish white shoe kind of thing. So form teacher would call me Anjang Gui, and my classmate, of course, would bully me because that kind of stuff. So I learned to fight and to have this the sheer greed of wanting to break through. Yeah, so that came when I was in grade 5. From probably early grade, like grade 1 to grade 4. I don't think I have made it beyond. Maybe out of 30 students, I have made it any position beyond better than 22, 23. So I was the last maybe 7 students in a class in terms of position. Yeah. Then when came to grade 5, I started to make great improvement. I started to know how to study and how to fight. And I remember I was already in the top 10 when I came to grade 5 and 6. Then we came to remove class. That was when I started to learn ABC. And remove class, because in the village school, we were not taught how to read ABC and so forth. And I could not pronounce Z, like Amazon. I couldn't do it, right? And so my teacher, again, had it very, very tough for me and put me to stand on a table.
Oh, no.
Yeah, things like that, yeah. So again, I have to fight another round again to learn English, to learn to speak Bahasa and so forth. So again, when came to Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, I performed very, very well. That's when I became prefect and then became, and also was very good in running because our house was very far away from the tar road where you can get access to a public bus. So like 5 kilometers. So every day I would have to come out from a house to get a bus 5 kilometers. So I became a very good runner. And so again, through sports, through studies, I became to have confidence. And so I think that's how things started to change.
And I think what you shared earlier about the different words that's thrown at you, the different circumstances that you're in, it really is defining moments. You can actually decide, this is how it is lah, and accept it. Or you can, like you say, fight.
You fight, yes.
And I think the key defining moments are when you decide, no, I'm not going to settle for this, I want to fight.
Exactly, yeah.
Would you say those are the defining moments in your
I
life?
would say so, yeah. So the when a child is being treated that way, there are only two possible outcomes.
Yeah.
One is to agree, submit to it, and become
This is the
totally,
reality.
totally introverted and then accept life as it is. The other would be to be the opposite of that, and which I have chosen, and I took that and fought all the way with the sheer grit to not give up.
Talk to us a bit about your computer center when you came down to KL.
Right. So what happened then, after Form 5, I went on to Canada. And at that time, of course, you would be wondering, how do I get the money and all this, of course. So much of it was borrowed. I borrowed some of that money. My parents borrowed for me. And some of it also because in the 5 months of waiting for my MC results, I went and worked in the deep jungle, and I earned quite a bit of money at that time because I was already a trainee surveyor. In Form 4, Form 5, I went to technical school, Sekolah Menengah Teknik Tuanku Jaffa. So in technical school, we were trained the skill of the surveyor skill. And so I got myself a good job for 5 months, and so that saved a bit. And during those days, tuition fee in Canada was so cheap. It was only about 1,000, 2,000 for a year.
What year was
very
this?
cheap.
This
That was 1979, 1980.
Okay.
Yeah, was very cheap. So that's how I went to Canada. So after that, I came home to Malaysia after 6.5 years. I spent 6.5 years in Canada. One-way ticket, right? And then came back only at the end of it after 6.5 years. Came back in 1986, and it was such a recession, deep recession in Malaysia. And so anyway, to cut the story short, I got myself a small little room, and I started to teach computer packages with one computer. That's how I started. Yeah.
So one-on-one computer tutoring.
One-on-one computer.
And your students are, what kind of students would you get?
Okay, this is interesting. Because computer packages in 1986 was just starting at that time. And so a lot of CEOs and managers were afraid to touch computers. At that time, there was this floppy A, floppy B kind of thing. Yeah, so
it's scary to them. Like, what is this new thing?
It's so
it's a new concept for them.
Exactly. I still remember some of them. I asked them to put the floppy disk into drive A, drive B. Even that, it was horrifying to them because they're afraid the computer will explode or something. So, but anyway, because I was then teaching them one-on-one, and so they had to pay a much bigger fee. That's how I started. Yeah.
I remember those computers. The thin floppy disks, right? And then
you cannot remember. You were so young.
I was very young. My parents also gave me a bit of exposure.
Okay. So I did that. So from there we started. From there we grew to. It was then called the Canadian Institute of Computer Science. 2 years later, it was upgraded to Sedaya College. And then slowly became UCSI, which stands for University College Sedaya International. And then 5 years after that, we received our full-fledged full-fledged university status.
Amazing.
So it became UCSI University.
And by now, UCSI is really a household name. Everyone knows of this university. And so you've been listening to Datuk Peter Ng, and we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to hear more from him and his aspiration and plans moving forward.
Hi, my name is Scott and I'm from Suryana Welfare Society, Malaysia, and this is my prayer. Heavenly Father, we commit to you the children of Malaysia into your hands, even as many of them are faced with circumstances of which they are abused. I pray that even as they cry out to you, that you would listen. And I thank you that there are organizations out there who are reaching out to help them. I'm thankful for blessing us with a new government who prioritizes child protection in Malaysia. Therefore, I pray that your wisdom and your guidance will be upon those who are spearheading these initiatives to protect children in Malaysia. We thank you, we praise you in Jesus' precious name. Amen and amen.
Welcome back to Rhema Radio, the weekly podcast on faith, culture, music, and more. And in the studio, in conversation with me, is Datuk Peter Ng, and you were just sharing about your journey and how you started UCSI. So in this journey, I'm sure there are moments where challenges came.
Sure.
And I'm sure that there are points where you feel like giving up. We all have had this moment, but we don't talk about it often. So today I'm going to ask you to talk about it if you're comfortable. I mean, whatever you feel.
Sure.
And also how maybe God was in this picture with you. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the word quitting has never been part of my personality.
Okay.
So I don't quit, right? Challenges, obstacles, tremendous. I don't know if I can list them all, just tremendous, so many. I have challenges in the human resource area, finance. Money has always been a huge problem because we started with nothing. We started with 2,000 ringgit only. So how do I overcome them? I must thank this amazing God and that He would come at the right time and He would reveal to me help and assistance, as how to overcome each of these obstacles.
Could you share a specific?
Sure, I can.
Story.
Yeah. At one time we built a campus in Taman Konoth in Cheras. We had huge difficulty in getting our CF, Certificate of Fitness. And I had already promised parents and students about the move. And so parents and students have already, they have already terminated their tenancy agreement for where they were staying.
Right.
And they would be moving into our own student residence.
Sure.
And then from what time, what month and what date and so forth. And classes are supposed to be conducted in this new campus and so forth. And so the deadline was approaching. It was only I believe at that time we were down to only 3 weeks from moving. And I still have not gotten the CF. Parents were all happily move the kids and all to the new place and stuff like that. Some of them would rent from outside. Some would be waiting to move into a residence. I couldn't get my CF. And in the process, of course, in my devotions and so forth, God would lead me to some very interesting verses. I can think of one example would be Proverbs 21:1. The verse reminds us that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and that He directs it like a water course wherever He pleases. And so then I realized that if God wanted to give me the CF, He could. All right. So what happened then was, as I was struggling through, there was a good friend who wanted to come. A friend who was introduced by a good friend who wanted to come and join us and to work for us. And but I was not ready to receive her because I wanted to wait until when we moved to the new premise and that she could join us in that place. But she does not want to take that as the solution. She wanted to come at this point where we were at that time, right? I didn't know that she was God's provision for me to get my CF. I didn't know. Okay. So anyway, so she called me many times, like about maybe a month and a half ago, she called me then, can I come? I said, no, wait. All right.
Because you had bigger things on your mind.
I got bigger things in my mind,
Yeah.
and I thought it's not appropriate because I was in that smaller premises and I want her to come at the new,
I see.
Bigger premise and stuff like that. And then she called. She will call. This lady is really interesting. She will call. So one day she called again, out of my desperation and my anger, and I said, "Just come anyway." So then she came, and after she have come, and the next morning, immediately she came to my office and said, "Why are you so sad? why are you so depressed and stuff like that?" So I told her about this CF thing, and she said, "Oh, no worry. Tomorrow I will do something for you." All right, tomorrow morning, let's go and see the DG of this, this authority. And so we went, and just amazing, and just 2 days after that, we got our CF.
Amazing.
Yeah. So God provide. He has a provision, and He knew exactly what He's doing. It's just that my own lack of faith and did not see to it that did not believe that this can happen. All right. So God corrected me, and so we got our CF and moved in, and so we kept a promise of our parents and with our students and so forth.
Yeah.
So that really is that is just one. I've got tons of things like that. Right? So God has always come through in every challenge, every obstacle that we face.
I think one lesson I would have caught from that is that God answers in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sometimes we have an expectation when He replies, it will be a certain way that He replies. We never know. It can come as an insistent lady trying to call you, and then you don't meet, and that is the answer.
Yeah, and that I would not expect a solution from my own staff.
Yeah.
I thought it would be the Datuk somewhere out there, or that somehow the approval would just come through. But I didn't know that it came in that particular manner. Yeah, so that would be just one example.
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many more, and if we were to go through it, it would take the whole day.
Yes, exactly.
But maybe at this point, what would you say to someone who is like you? Maybe when they first started out, someone starting out to be looking out into the next season in their life and wanting to do more or get out of their situation. What would your advice be to them?
Yeah. I would say that whatever that we do, and as we seek God, as we look for direction for a next phase or whatever, we should always observe to live an obedient life. Obedient as to what God is talking to us about. Obedient as in what our faith would need to take us to and take action on it. John 14:21 reminds us that whoever has my commands and obeys them, he's the one who loves me. He who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love him and show myself to him. So if God were to show himself to us, whatever things that you're looking for, whatever directions, whatever next phase of things to do in life, God will make it very clear. So meanwhile, we stay obedient. And we stay true to our faith. So that would be my advice to anyone who is at this moment seeking to know what to do next. And this is what we should
Stay obedient. Stay
Yeah.
true to your faith.
Yeah.
And I think one other thing which I caught, which you didn't say, is quitting is not an option.
No, it's not an option. Yeah.
Quitting is, and you shared so much today, and although there's so much more that we can go into. We didn't even go into the Blue Ocean strategy, which you are also very heavily part of.
Yeah.
And also you have the 4 founding values. The 4 values that you live by, which is audacity, integrity, perseverance, and excellence. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, the 4 values, I think it's something that all of us, whatever we do, we can have that sort of value, yeah? Whatever that we pursue it to the best knowledge that you know how. Excellence is God's way of, it's our way of honoring God because He does everything beautifully. And so we should model along God and pursue excellence as our goal in all that we do. Whether people watching or not, I keep telling my staff, whether you are being watched, whether you will be honored, you'll be rewarded or not, is not the question. So if you can stay true to that kind of calling, that kind of passion in your heart, I'm very sure down the road you'll be rewarded. Maybe not today, but down the road, right? Integrity is something that I think will pay handsomely if we stay true to it and do not even doubt over the integrity. How many times I have been honored because of certain aspect of the way we run our company. For example, we have a policy that a young graduate, this is a long time ago, a young graduate who come and join us, minimum pay is 2,005. Oftentimes, you will come across people, graduates who apply, and they state willingly, I only expect 2,001. So I told my people, keep that integrity. Minimum 2,005. I don't care whether
expect less.
Expect less. No, we still honor them and pay them 2,005. So integrity in many ways, in many areas. So that again is something that will really, really pay handsomely as we go along the line. Perseverance. Without, James 1:2-4 talks about how we have to consider joy in the midst of all different kind of trials, because perseverance must, because this kind of trials and will produce perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work so that we lack nothing. So to me, if you don't persevere, you don't deserve what you set to do, what you aim to do. Don't even think about getting it, because we are told that if we are tossed around like a wave, we are not stable mind, and you should not get anything out of it. And I have that belief. You cannot have double mind about it. Persevere. And finally, audacity. If we don't have the high aim, if we're not audacious, you were just going to achieve just going to be just average, mediocre kind of result. So to me, aim high and work your best to achieve it is what we should do. So I tell my staff, my children as well, these 4 values all the time.
And really, I see it in the story that you share, and from again going back to how you started to where you are today. I'm not going to list down everything, but wow, UCSI as a group has achieved and established so many things.
Thank you.
And I think all you need to do is just go online and search for UCSI group, and then you can see the different efforts and initiatives and different achievements. And really, again, thank you so much for sharing. It's to me very inspiring.
Thank you, Jason.
And I'm sure people who are listening to this, they are and asking themselves these very hard questions, and also dreaming big. They hear your story and they are encouraged and they are challenged. And they can live it out as well.
To God be the glory.
All glory to God.
Yes.
So you've been listening to Datuk Peter Ng from UCSI, and we are also just both of us maybe cheering you on. If you're listening to this, believe in God, and He will do great things through you if you would be again obedient and faithful. So once again, you've been listening to Rhema Radio, the weekly podcast on faith, culture, music, and more. And this is Jason signing off.
The sparkles in his eyes. Knew me before I was born, created my inmost being, whose eyes beheld my unformed body, who has loved me, though I was still in sin. Jesus is you, the moon and the stars are the gleam from his feet. The sun, the sparkles in his eyes. There's someone I know who knew me before I was born, who created my inmost being, whose eyes beheld my unformed body, who has loved me though I was still in sin. Jesus, it's you. It's you. You're the one that I know. Yes, it's you. It's you. You're the someone I know. It is you. It's you. I know. Jesus, it's you. Jesus is 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 you.
This segment features music from KB Chan. This episode was edited and mixed by Jonathan Yeo and recorded by Moses Chan at Prodeo Studios. Do connect with us at facebook.com/RemaRad.10. Comment, like and share our weekly show so we can do more. Tune in next week for the next midweek service and interview. Till then, God bless you. Hi, this is Jason, the station director of Rhema Radio. I want to thank you for your support in making the ministry what it is today. Since our launch in 2016, we've consistently released 2 shows weekly. We've featured sermons and songs from churches and talents all across Malaysia. We've been privileged to have on our shows thought leaders from education, family, government, arts, media, business, and the church. Our mission field is the digital space. Our task is to create and curate content that is God-inspired and relevant to the world we live in today, to be a platform for kingdom unity, to be a resource center for the coming famine that is not of food and water, but of God's Word. This is our assignment, and we have experienced the grace of God upon us to do this. So many testimonies have been birthed out of this ministry. We want to reach a wider audience and be a blessing to more, but we need your support. At the moment, Rhema Radio is not backed by any one church, organization, or business. It is powered by volunteers. While I'm encouraged by the handful of supporters who have given, we need more partners. If you believe there is a need for positive, faith-inspired Malaysian content, why don't you consider partnering with us? Go to remarad.io/support to find out more. Our prayer is that we connect with the right partners and together let's sow into the digital mission field and impact lives far and wide. God bless. I found it on Rhema Radio.